Hi, I'm Evil Tactician from manapool.co.uk, and in this Star Ruler video tutorial we are going to look at some basic game mechanics. First we should have a look at the camera controls. If you hold down the right mouse button you can orbit around the selected object. In this case it's the home planet. As you can see, you can scroll in any direction. If you hold the left and right mouse button at the same time you can zoom in and out. It's actually much easier to do with the mouse wheel, so I would recommend doing that. If you hold down Alt and the right mouse button you can roll your camera, which is also pretty useful, as you can see. And if you hold down the middle mouse button and then with your mouse you can pan the camera up, down, left and right. You can also use Alt and Shift for finer and broader movement. As you can see, you can go very slow and deliberate. If you move your cursor to the edge of the screen and do something similar, as you can see, the behavior of the camera changes as well. It takes a bit of getting used to it. It's not the most intuitive at first, but it works pretty well. To select things it's pretty intuitive actually. You can left click on various objects to select them. You can also control left click, like any RTS really, to select multiple objects, which is not really that obvious now with these planets, but we'll see that much better later with ships and such. You can also drag a box around items and do pretty much everything else that a normal RTS would do. If you press Z, you can zoom straight to the selected item. That's a key you should definitely remember. In terms of the UI, if you look at the top left here, you see the current research technology. So I'm currently researching ship systems to level 2 with an ETA of 52 seconds. I've paused the game so we can take our time. You will also see an overview of all the resources that your empire has in its galactic bank, which all planets have access to, as long as they have starports. So here you see advanced parts, then electronics, metals, food, goods and luxuries. We'll get much deeper into that in later sessions. Under that you see the pinned menu. So if you remember other RTS games, basically you can pin items to this menu and interact with them much quicker. So that applies to planets, ships, fleets, etc. Okay. At the top here you see the various buttons for the main screens. So Empire, Planet, Blueprints, which is where you design ships, we'll go into that later, System and Research. We'll explore all of these. There's also a button here to open the Stellarpedia, where you can find a lot of information on various aspects of the game. It's very useful. And over here you see the ticker, which you can make larger and smaller, and anything that happens that is of importance basically scrolls here. You can customize it later to hide things that you really don't need to see. At the top right you see the time, how long the game has lasted, and the current speed that you're running at. Like, you can customize that in various speed settings and pause it. Then at the bottom here you see a little overview panel of the currently selected item. I wouldn't worry about what's in there too much yet, if that becomes pretty obvious later on. But you see here that hit points, usually here you see shields, and then you see speed, and here you see fuel as well, which obviously applies to moving objects and not planets. Okay, building ships, that can be done in various ways, which is pretty nice, because everybody will have a different style, and when you're under pressure you want to do it the quickest way possible. First you can right click an object, in this case your home planet, go to build ships, and you can select one of these options here. Let's build a scout. There we go, and you'll see that it's now building a scout and it's 0% completed. Yep. The second method is actually pressing on the system key You see this little overview window here where you can choose to build ships. You can either choose to build it on this specific planet, so changing this to scout, and then pressing this button would add another scout to the queue. Or you can actually, at the top here, go here, select scout here, then press this here, and it will assign it to the best possible option in the system. So if all of these planets would be colonized, it would actually start distributing the ships through that. I'm just turning the music down as it's interrupting the tutorial a little bit. And the third method is just going to your planet screen, which you can either do by pressing planet or double clicking the planet. And here you will see a screen that's very familiar if you have played games like this before, where you can simply queue items. So we can remove scouts or we can add scouts, whatever we want. We're gonna build 5 scouts. There we go. And then we're gonna put that pause off. You'll actually see that it goes pretty quickly and that it builds them right next to the planet. I've actually generated a very small system for this tutorial, just to keep it a bit easier to keep an overview. So there we select the 5 scouts. Turn the game speed down a little bit. As you can see, we do that by dragging a box around them. And if we then press X, these scouts will automatically start exploring an unexplored system. So you see that this scout is flying there, that scout is flying somewhere else. And they're all going to different systems, and those should be explored pretty soon. Okay, another thing that's very useful to know is if you right click an object, it's like this, you can give the ship various orders. So let's select a ship, and for example we select this. We can select attack or move to system, auto-colonize, all these sort of options with left click. But if we would use control left click, we actually force the order, and what that does is it kind of depends on the order that you're given, but if you force attack, for example, the ships will keep attacking that object until the object is destroyed or disabled, or the ship in question that you're giving the order to is destroyed itself. So it can be pretty useful in some situations. Similarly, if you force supply, then ships that supply that the particular object or ship or whatever that you're giving the supply order to, so you're ordering one ship to supply something else, it will actually stay in the system where it's flying to, rather than going back to it, where it came from. Also, in terms of assault, normally if you select a fleet and select assault on another system, it assaults that system, and once it's done it flies back to the system where it came from. If you force assault, then that fleet will actually stay in the system that it attacked. So that's really pretty useful. Okay, the next thing you really want to know in a game like this is how to colonize other planets. Again, that's pretty simple. First we build a colony ship. Let's do it the quickest way. And you will see that this planet will start building that colony ship. Let's put the game up to normal speed. You can also see that here, that actually it has everything already except for the labor. So we're just waiting for the right amount of labor to accumulate here, and then the ship will be built. It can take a little while, as this planet isn't very quick yet in constructing. So we just skip forward. There. And what you see now, the ship immediately starts flying to one of the uncolonized planets in this system. That's actually the default behavior of colonized ships. They immediately fly to the best system in the system where they were built and then try to colonize that. Sometimes you might not actually want that. You might want to colonize somewhere else. So suppose that I would want to claim this system. There, I would just give it the order to go there and it will go there. You'll notice that due to the Newtonian physics, the ship actually keeps flying in the direction of this planet. For a little bit at least, until it uses its thrusters and manages to change direction. It sometimes leads to pretty amusing ship movement. Also notice that these scouts are not behaving. Okay, next is planet management. It's again pretty easy. It's very similar to other games of this type. What you see here, this is the home planet. Currently it has 22 out of 25 slots utilized. It's set to balanced world and it is not using a planetary governor. If you would use a planetary governor, basically the AI starts building structures for you according to a specific template, and these templates are explained in the Stellarpedia, somewhere in planet governors. There we go. This is not always completely up to date, but if you wonder what one of these governors actually does, then that's the place to look. So in this case we're going to stay on balanced worlds. However, I want to have some defenses on this planet before I let the AI loose on it. So I built a planetary cannon, and I also want a shipyard because the labor on this planet is pretty poor at the moment, and we don't have anything else yet. And then we're gonna build another planetary cannon. So you can see you can queue things up and it goes through them in order. We have a lot more labor at our disposal now, which will help. So if we would build a colonized ship now, it should go a little bit quicker than it did before, as you can see. It's still at half speed. We needed to speed up to 10 times speed before to actually see a real noticeable effect, and it goes fine now. So you can see the difference there. So yeah, you can very easily overview all the structures that are on your planet, and each of the structures that you can build is pretty well explained. It's not very complex, this aspect of the game. Some planets will have some special abilities which are listed here, such as poor farming or dense minerals, that sort of stuff. It's worth bearing that in mind when you're building a planet up. What you also see here is the food eaten by the population. You can see the ore at the disposal of the planet. That number is actually pretty important, because when a planet runs out, it operates at 20% of its efficiency in terms of metal mining and ore mining, and that can really kind of crash your economy when you will see that you'll have loads of advanced materials and not so much metal later on. So you want to keep that in mind, to make sure that you build mining planets on planets with a lot of ore. You can also see the damage that the planet has taken. You can see the available labor. You can here see the available workers, and you can here see the happiness. Happiness is affected by building more goods and luxuries. So if you dedicate a planet to that, it will actually contribute to the Galactic Bank and make all your planets happier. So it's useful to make a couple of those planets in your empire. Okay, that's all for now for this particular video tutorial. We'll see you again in the next tutorial.